Hi everyone, welcome to this live. I'm just going to wait for a few minutes for people to start joining in and I'll get started after that. So we had received a few questions on the form that I had sent, and I happened to do a little bit of research on those answers. So if you are one of them who had asked these questions, please let me know if you are here. So, but if you didn't post your question in the form that we sent, you can post your question in the chat. But if you have already, just let me know that you are here so that I can take your question and answer that specifically. If you have no idea about the whole process of express entry to Canada, you can check out the official website of the Canadian government. I also did a video explaining to you how the whole process works, so you can check that out. But today I'm just answering specific questions that students have. The overall process is clear to people anyway, right? Yeah. So if you're here, if you had posted a question on our form that we sent, please let me know that you're here, because I don't want you to miss the answer. If you have a question about PR, if you didn't post the question on the form that we sent on WhatsApp, just post your question here on the live chat. Okay, I'll just wait around for a couple of more minutes and I'll get started after that. Anyone who has posted a question is here. Let me read out names. Okay, so if you're Krishna Chaitanya, Salma, Rajni, Shri Atira, Kirtika, Saksham, Geetanjali, if any of you are here, please let me know. Okay, all right. How many band scores are required for PR in Canada? Dhruv, generally speaking, the minimum requirement is obviously CLB 7, which is 6.5 overall in IELTS. But to be competitive, to make sure that you make it to the invitation of PR, you will have to score a CLB 9 or CLB 10 based on what your age is. So if you're below 30, 8,777, listening 8, reading, writing, speaking 7 is good if you have to apply for a PR, or if you have to be invited. If you if you want to be sure that you will be invited for a PR, you will need at least 8,777. But if you're above 30, having a score of CLB 10 and above always helps. Okay. You posted your question as well. Somehow can't see. Okay, Rama, can you please post the question here? I'm not able to see it on the form, on the Excel sheet of the form. But let me read out the other names. I read that out. Krishna, if you're here, Salma, Rajni, Shri, Kirtika, Isha, Saksham. If any of you are here, please let me know. If they don't turn up, I'll obviously end up answering their questions, and that will be useful for you as well. But if you guys, whoever is watching me right now, have a question, please put that. Yes, Vasu, hi, please post your question on the chat. Okay, yeah, hi, Saksham is here, so let's take his question now. So Saksham asked me a question saying he's done his MCA and he's also got his ECA done, Education Credential Assessment done, and he's had about 1.5 years of experience in a tech company. So he's still working there and he's wanting to know what is the best scenario for getting a PR in Canada. I saw your question, Saksham, and you said that you have a PNP, or have you like chosen a province already, or have you expressed your interest to settle down in a province already? If yes, I will want to know what that province is. But if no, I was checking the website for Alberta immigration program. There's something specific to people who are in the field of tech. So if you are, you are working there in the field of tech, so if you apply through the Alberta immigration program, you might stand a chance. But there's just one catch. They also kind of expect people to have French as their first language. First language is not possible, but at least if you have learned French in the past, or you're learning French, it might help you in your application. So maybe do that. But otherwise, it's the usual way, it's the usual route. So you have good amount of work ex, and all this is full-time work experience, and you have an ECA already. So all you need is your IELTS score. So just make sure that you score as high as possible, so that your score is very competitive, and you definitely stand a chance to get invited. So but if you are very particular about one province, then you may need to head to that particular province's website and see what they want out of you if you have to work there. Mostly in all provinces, what happens is that they have a certain number of skilled work streams, and you'll have to be in that stream, or your employer there will have to be a part of will have to be contributing to that province in some way. So all that complication is there when you're applying through PNP. Okay, Saksham, yeah. So that was your answer. I hope I answered your question, Saksham. Vasu, I'll take your question and then I'll move on to Shree's question. So apart from PR, what are the best options to go to Canada? Now, Vasu, you can apply for the academic IELTS test, study there, and then apply for a PR as well. So that gives you this for your ECA, especially, that helps you in your ECA. But if you haven't done masters, maybe consider something equivalent to masters there in Canada, work there, and then apply for a PR. Okay. Oh yes, that's the catch. So every province has this catch, and it's just that you will have to be eligible. You can be eligible only if you are falling under those skilled worker lists. So just apply through express entry, maybe, if you are not particular about a province. That's my suggestion. Okay, Rahila has a question about work permit or any job offer can we get. Now, Rahila, that depends on your skill level. So what your skill level is, and where you want to work, how you want to work, what you want to work as. Just use your network there and try finding a job before applying for a PR. Okay. All right, now I'll take Shree's question. Shree has a list of questions. So Anusha, I'll take your question after I'm done with Shree's question. So with this particular question that I'm answering, a lot of your questions will get answered. So hang around, and if it does not get answered yet, then you can post your question on the chat, right? So because what I'm about to tell is very detailed. She had a lot of questions. So one is he's waiting for FSW draws, and one answer about FSW is that it has not yet opened for 2022 now. It may open in the second half. That's what the other websites are saying. The official website does not have that info yet. The official website only has the info about the PNP draws that happened, right? So that is your answer, Shri. And also, should you be applying to PNP separately, or should you be selecting all options of EE profile? Again, that depends on what you want to do. I mean, if you want to go to Canada without this foundation of living in one province, then just go ahead with whatever you are doing. Because with the PNP, what happens is, any province, you had mentioned PEI, But with any province, the LOI is important. So, I mean, almost every province requires you to express this intent that you want to settle down there. And also, like I was telling Saksham, this thing about your job has to fit in there, it has to fit in a certain list. If it's not there, then it's an issue, right? And your second question is, having a job offer is not mandatory, but you should be working here. You should have a full-time job here. But if you do get a job offer there from an employer, you will have to update your express entry profile. I mean, that is mandatory, and you can certainly do, you can do this job search even after getting your PR. But the mandate is that you should be working full-time here, right? And if you meet that requirement, you are going to be invited anyway. Now, about proof of funds, Shri, you have to show proof of funds, but they shouldn't be coming in from a property or stocks. Any other mode is fine, and you can keep them all in one account after you get this invitation to apply. So there is no problem there. I mean, you wanted to know if it was, you should be keeping this money in your bank account for 6 months. That's not required. You'll probably just have to show the proof, as in where this is coming from. I mean, it can be from anywhere, any other savings mode as well, apart from an asset or apart from being borrowed from someone or stocks. It shouldn't be from these three sources. And yes, the FSW draws will be not on first come first serve. It will be based on the high scores only. So people who have applied so far, who yet to receive this draw, they will be given preference. But among that also, obviously, people who have scored high will be given preference. That's the criteria always. That's not going to change just because they didn't have FSW draws for over a year. All right. So those are your answers, Shri. If there's anything else, please let me know. Okay, now, all right. So I'm just going to take the next question here. Like I said, if you haven't posted your question on the form link, you can post them here. But I will take them. I'll give preference to the questions that were received earlier. Okay. Anyway, so I'm going to take the next question. The next question is of Anusha's. She asked me. My husband has an experience of 14 years in the civil field. He's 35 now. Can we go ahead with PNP, and what would be the requirement? Is it mandatory to search for a job? You can go. Yes. So like I said, Anusha, just like Shri, you can do this job search even after ECA, and obviously if your husband has 14 years of work ex, I mean that is enough for you to apply to a PR. On paper, everything looks perfect, but the problem is his age. So this whole CRS thing has become so competitive now that even if you score a CLB 9, even if you're below 30, let's say all conditions are favorable, you are still competing among a lot of people who have a high CRS score. So that's the issue. So if your husband is 35 and you can score like a really, really high CLB, like say 10, 11 or maybe 12, then you have a chance. But with PNP again, I'm not sure of the complications or anything, but it's just that you will have to be very sure about where you want to settle, and you will have to see what the requirements of that particular province are. But it's usually similar. Every province has the same requirements as the express entry. It's just that certain provinces give preference if you have or if you know the French language, or if you work in a certain stream, or if you have a certain set of skills, if you work for a certain employer. So all of that is there, and it depends on the province. So I can't generalize and say this is the process for PNP. What I will do is I'll give you that link which has the requirements of all the provinces, including Quebec, and you can check that out. Okay, Anusha? I hope that answers your question. Okay, Vasu, you have a 9-year experience in the IT sector. You already have a master's degree, so you don't want to go on a study visa. Then I think you should just be going ahead and targeting a high score in the IELTS, for the IELTS test. So you should be targeting, like I said, just told Anusha as well. So if you're nearing 30 by any chance, you should be targeting a CLB 10. That's how you will kind of be given preference. Okay, So that ultimately it boils down to that, because the CRS is so competitive. When the draws come up, finally they will give preference to people who have a high CRS score. So yeah. But if you do want to go to Canada at any cost, many students have done this as well. They've done an MBA because they were not able to clear the GT test. They did the academic test and have gone there. I'm not sure about what happened later though, but this is what happened. So, I mean, weigh your options, see where you go with the preparation of IELTS test, and then decide what you want to do. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions that you guys have? I'm also checking this sheet if there are new questions. Yes, Shikha, you can post your question about the PR process. I can answer that for you. If there's any other question, I'm ready to take them. Okay, one more person had posted this question. I'm not sure if this person is listening, but Krishna had a question that he's completed his master's in 2018, has a work ex of 3 years in total. What are his chances of getting a PR? Should he do masters again? I don't think, Krishna, you should be doing your masters again. 3 years is good enough, and you have a full-time work experience as well. So you don't have to do anything else, but probably get your ECA done, just like what Saksham had done. Get your ECA done, make sure that you're preparing for IELTS from right now, and you target a high score as usual. And if you were anywhere close to 30, yeah, as like I said, target a high CLB, so that you stand a high chance of getting invited. So you don't have to do anything else apart from focusing on your IELTS right now. Also, one more thing that you may do is look out for the PNP route as well. If you feel that there are provinces that give preference to your field of study, then again you may stand a high chance there. So check that out, and also try the regular express entry route. Okay, yes, Anusha, I will not forget that. But it's just there on the official website of the Canadian government. I'm going to post that link here on the chat, and also once I have, yeah, so that the link that I just shared has all the links, sublinks to the provinces. You can check that out. Okay, Shikha has a question. You've completed your masters in B.Ed, have 7 years of work ex in teaching, and you've done a certificate course as well, but you've completed 30 years. All right, Shikha. So what is your question again? I mean, what are your chances? One more factor that I haven't spoken about all this while is if you have a spouse who's applying for a PR or has a good IELTS score, a good track record in terms of career, you also, you will also have favorable chances of getting a good CRS score. So I've not included that angle yet because nobody asked me that. So that also defines your CR, and you can check your CRS, estimate your CRS from the official Canadian website. I hope you guys know that. I've also added that in my earlier video about Canada PR. Yeah, so the correct way, Shikha, is, okay, again, I think just go directly through the express entry route and see what happens. If you have a spouse, if the spouse is applying, then again, like I said, you have a favorable situation here. But otherwise, targeting high IELTS score should be your goal now. I don't think having work ex, your work ex seems okay as far as you have been a teacher, you have done a certificate course related to teaching, you've done a B.Ed, all of this is related to teaching only, you're not doing anything different. So there is no problem. As such, your profile will not create a problem for you. I feel it's just your IELTS that you need to get out your way. Good, thanks Anusha, thanks. Nice to know that my videos are helping. Okay. Yeah, so mostly that's what I can see. Most of you are stuck at that point where you need a high CLB score. Don't get intimidated by that, right? Okay. Your NOC code is 3113. If I get a job which falls under other NOCs like receptionist, will I be able to claim the points for arranging employment, or is it only for my NOC job? Um, okay, if I get a job which falls under other NOCs, I don't think so, Shri. You should be, under the same. I think so. If you're applying through the PNP route, it should be the same NOC code. But otherwise, if it's a regular express entry, I don't think that's an issue. The field is what that matters. Which field you have been working as, what field you've got your job offer. What role as such, I don't think will matter much. That's what I feel. That's what the official website says, according to me. I'm not sure about if you go through the PNP route by any chance, then I don't know. Okay, but right now this looks okay to me. All right. Any more questions, guys, that you guys have about the PR process? I'll just stay around for 5 more minutes before I end. Okay. So remember, when we do these Q&A, the live Q&A, I send out a Google form asking you to post your questions, and these come to you on Instagram and on our WhatsApp group. So if you aren't there in our free WhatsApp group, I suggest that you join so that you're not missing these alerts and updates that we send. And apart from these live Q&A on the PR process and everything, we also do live masterclasses on IELTS. That's what I teach majorly. In case you don't know, you can just join this WhatsApp group for getting all updates regarding IELTS. Okay, so Shikha, yes, that's good, right? So you've also done friends. That adds up to your profile. That also will favor your profile. All you need to do now is the tough step of clearing the IELTS test. It's not very hard. Just take a couple of months, take 3 months, and finish off the process. Okay, yeah, don't let that stand in your way. Okay, what is the CRS score for PG diploma? Okay, pursuing it from British Columbia. So you can't really predict your CRS like that, Apurv. It depends on a lot of factors. One is your IELTS, your education obviously, which I think is fine, and your work ex. So if you're applying for a PR, you should have at least a year of work ex in the last 3 years if you already live there. If you are living in India, then you should have again at least a year of full-time work ex. So if you already have that, then you are eligible for the PR. Then the next things, the further aspects that affect your CRS is your age, is whether your spouse is applying or not, whether your spouse is taking the IELTS or not. All of that is going to affect your CRS score. So let me give you the link. It's there in the earlier video where I talked about the whole PR process. But for the sake of you, I'll probably add that link where you can check what your CRS is. Okay, but it does not change based on the province that you're living in, or based on the kind of study that you are in. That I don't think it works that way. No, Anusha, there is express entry for Canada as well. Only thing, the problem is that you can still create your profile. There is no problem there. The draws are not happening. That's the issue for express entry, right? So which is why you feel that the draws are happening for PNP. Oh, let me just apply through the PNP route. Maybe you feel that, but they may resume soon. I mean, that's what the other bloggers or the other websites are saying, that the second half of 2022 will have draws for the CEC first and then for the FSW. So let's see. Let's be positive. Okay, Shri has another question. Will have an EE profile be problem if I'm applying for a visit visa? Oh, I'm not sure about that, Shri. Check the requirements of the visit. I don't think, I mean, you don't have a PR. You're trying to apply for a PR there. Having a profile isn't an issue. Only when you've received an invitation to apply for a PR, maybe then it is an issue. I mean, logically speaking. So but still, I mean, I don't know how the visit visa works. So check the visit visa requirements, and as far as I know, it shouldn't be an issue, right? You can be creating a profile and you're doing that legally. So yes, any other questions, guys, that you have? No other questions? Okay, great. So thank you for joining in with this very interactive live. Next week I'll do a live for the academic students. I'll do a study abroad live. So like I said, just follow me on WhatsApp or Instagram if you want to be a part of more such live sessions, including the ones that I take for IELTS test. Right, so for now I'll just call it a day. If you have more questions that you want to be answered, leave them on the chat or the comments of this video, and I will answer them after I've done sufficient research. All the necessary links that are important for you, like say estimating your CRS. Someone asked me about how how is it like for each province, how are the requirements for each province. These links I will add in the video description. Okay, can we trust the people who are saying who can help you in job offer and visa? Yes, Vasu, sorry I missed your question. You had asked me this question earlier. I am not sure. So firstly, you can't tell whether this person is lying or not. It's very hard to judge, right? So take it with a pinch of salt. I mean, see whether this person has had credible achievements in the past. Ask who his clients were. Also the same for people who promise that they'll give you a PR. So everything depends on the profile and what the Canadian government wants, right? So they can't do wonders or pull any strings. So just make sure that you're doing a good background check of whoever you want to trust. Okay, Vasu? Yeah. And also I hope you understand that if you're going to a PR consultant, the person who is running the whole consultancy should have a PR, should have a permit to become a PR consultant. So check these things, and people may have knowledge, like people may share knowledge just like me, but knowing the process, doing the things for you, they have to be qualified for that. So check the credibility of the team that you're working with. It always helps. Okay, best if the person has a PR, is living in Canada, or is permitted by IRCC, certified by IRCC. These are things that you need to check. Okay, usually they are. It's not like people con you into this by taking money. Usually they are, but it's just that you still need to do that background check. Okay, okay, great. Okay, so I'll see you next time then. Questions on immigration to another country probably. If you have more questions, like I said, just leave them on the chat, and I'll see you again in another class. Bye bye. Have a good evening.